So one of the reasons we can afford to have a paid program like this is because of the quality of our training. In our training, we teach our people everything they need to know to be successful with us. It's really designed for anyone who doesn't have any experience to really feel comfortable right off the bat. So our training's actually been recognized in textbooks. It's been recognized by the Wall Street Journal. It's been used in classrooms all around the nation, different schools. It's actually part of the curriculum at Purdue, Kent State, Illinois State, Boston College. These are a couple professors that actually work with our academic advisor board. I mentioned earlier with the scholarship that also co-teach the class. And there's comments on there about the classes as well. NC State, 35% of the class is actually, 35% of the grade is based on the Cutco project. And that's just because of the quality of our training and our products. Also, as I mentioned, we are featured in the Wall Street Journal just because what the students learn, the real life skills, the hands-on experience, which is really exciting. So there's 3 parts to our training. The first part to our training is the initial training seminar. This is 3 consecutive days, usually on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just depending on the time of the year. We feel it's really important that all of our representatives know everything about the product. So on the first day, we really educate them fully on the product. And why is this important?
Because they need to be able to answer questions.
Yeah, they need to feel comfortable. They need to be able to answer questions. And it just gives them more confidence in what they're representing. On the second day, we cover scheduling. We go over philosophies of working with customers. And on the third day, we do final review, paperwork, and just wrap things up. Now, our representatives are not paid for their first initial training for the actual business seminar. All their literature, materials, products, everything is paid for. Everything's free of charge. They are paid for their training appointments, which we'll go through in a second. But they do have this to put on their resume. They did complete this portion of our seminar, and that's something that in the future they could even earn college credits, and they don't have to pay for it either. So second phase of training is the actual training appointments. And these are paid training appointments. Representatives on these appointments are able to use their outline. And do you guys remember who their first appointments are with?
Who they know.
Friends and family?
Yeah, people that they know. So friends, family, neighbors, old coworkers, bosses, church people, anyone they're comfortable with. That's who they start off with, which we talked about earlier. All right. So even though they're only a third done with their training process, they begin getting paid right here. So the base and incentive actually starts off from the very first appointment they conduct. Now, one of the reasons that our company is willing to guarantee pay for that time, even though they're on an actual training appointment and the customer doesn't have to buy anything, what do you think a lot of times happens when a customer sees the quality of the products?
They buy.
They end up getting something. Where they wouldn't have planned on it before, but they just see the quality. So if they don't buy, our representatives always have that guaranteed pay that we talked about regardless, but many times people end up getting something. So from these initial appointments, once they see the people that they know, how do they get more appointments? Who would they see next? Yeah, do you guys remember the 5 to 10 recommendations? So their first people they're practicing with, then 5 to 10 recommendations would mean now they have, blank to blank people, and then once they see their friends, their friends, their friends, and it's all friends of friends of friends of friends. So it's very comfortable, they have a lot of fun with it, and it's people who are expecting. So it snowballs pretty quickly. That's how we had Mariana Gayani, who just moved, had moved here 2 years ago and started off with us, and she was new to the area. She had moved here from Venezuela. She knew 2 people here. And when she saw them, she got a bunch of their friends, booked appointments with them, got a bunch of their friends. She's been one of our best representatives for 2.5 years. Same with Matt and Morty, one of our scholarship winners. And those who were selected, you'll get to meet these guys here on our team. All right, some of our best performers. Now, do you think our representatives have questions when they're doing their training appointments? Yeah, definitely. So the third phase of training is really the ongoing training, which incorporates a couple things. Our representatives never stop learning. So the first part would be the advanced training. Our representatives on the first week, they actually come back for a couple short advanced trainings. We usually have these lined up with when they do their paycheck stuff and then when they'd come for the team meeting. That way they're here on one day, but we go through and answer questions based on what they've seen and done. That way representatives can get a lot more comfortable and they're able to ask questions that are actually based on experience on what they've done versus just book knowledge. So they really like that. And how long do most companies actually spend training their people?
2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple days to a couple weeks. Where again, ours, it's an ongoing process. Every single week, we see our representatives, twice a week. They come here. We have consultations on Sundays where they come and do all their paperwork, turn in everything for paychecks, do their schedules. But we have someone sit down with them and actually dive into their results from the prior week, find areas of opportunity, and constantly help them improve in their business. And that's something that people would pay a lot of money for at other companies, and they get that free of charge. Also, every Wednesday night, we have our team meeting. We get the entire team together to recognize results, first and foremost. And we always have workshops to help them keep improving in their business, as well as team night where we all go hang out and they have a chance to have access to some of the best people, not just in our office, but across the nation, and get questions answered and just always be getting better. So they pretty much have free consultants for their business right here in our office. So I know our guys really like that. Also, there's a chance to go field training with representatives. We have Colin. Colin is actually how we keep track of all their work. It's kind of like clocking in and clocking out. They do that over the phone. It wouldn't make sense for me to have one of my Fort Lauderdale representatives drive all the way down here to clock in, drive back home, do their appointments, drive back down, come clock out, and drive back home. That'd be real silly. So what they do is they just call in the morning, hey, Kat, just checking in for the day. Got 5 appointments ahead of me. If they need us throughout the day, they're more than welcome to call for help. And at the end of the night, they always clock out with their final results of the day. And that's how we keep track of everybody. So it's a clock in, clock out process. It helps us know what's happening, and it's very flexible for them. And I know our representatives really like that. It's really beneficial for them. All right. So they do that, and then besides that, there's conferences, workshops, things they can get invited to. We always have things we let them know ahead of time. They're not mandatory, but are just there to impact their business. 3 to 5 times annually, we have larger conferences regionally and nationally. Those are things they can get invited to based on where they're at in their career. Our next event that representatives can get invited to is actually happening in January. That's our year-end banquet, and that's something they'll hear more about as we go into the holiday season. So lastly, I want to wrap up with our perks. All right. Our first perk is the actual sale, so we can stop that there. So